The term legendary gets thrown around far too much. But who I get to speak to today exemplifies it perfectly. He is a master of comedy and the art of entertainment. And if you knew him from his Stern days, you would think he was a one trick kind of guy. He has survived addiction and faced death, lived to tell the tale, and is even open to telling you that story so you can learn a lesson for yourself. He is an amazing human being and an amazing person whose brain I get to pick today. He is the one, the only, the legendary, the Rev, Bob Levy. What's going on, Bob?
What's up, buddy? How you doing, man?
I'm fantastic. I have been nervous about this since I asked you the first time. Hey, Bob, can I sit down and talk to you?
Yeah.
And I want to tell everybody that's watching this, you have been nothing but a gentleman. You've been patient. You're like you've always, like, if something changed, you let me know.
Yeah.
You're a class act to work with, and I've interviewed plenty of people who were absolutely douchebags, and you're fantastic. But being the guy that you're a comedian, you're brilliant at what you do. Your crowd work is amazing, but that may not have happened in an alternate universe. In fact, we may be having a conversation, and I'm not talking to Bob Levy. I'm talking to Heartbreaker Bobby Slayer.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. Your pro wrestling career. What went on with that?
Well, that was fun. Like, I was always a big fan and all that. And when I moved to a different part of South Jersey, I think it was my second marriage. I ended up meeting Pretty Boy Larry Sharp, he had a wrestling school, the Monster Factory.
That's where the Steiner brothers and I think the Road Warriors trained, right?
No, I think it was like the Giant, Bam Bam Bigelow. There was a lot of guys, the Headbangers, like stuff like that. But there was a lot of guys that came from there. And I ended up at first doing Shane McMahon's roast for his bachelor party. We were hired, me and Jim Norton were hired to go on a boat out of New York City and do that. And that was pretty wild. And they liked me, and they were like, if you get a little training, maybe we can do stuff with, whatever. But if you get training, it'll help because you can take bumps and all that. You're good on the mic and that, but that didn't work out. But I did train. Like, he's like, come and train, man. Just do it. Have fun with us. And I did a few matches, like 4 or something. And it was fun. I mean, I really enjoyed it. Like, it's a lot harder than people think.
I've taken a couple bumps. I did some fighting when I was younger, and I told them I'd rather get my ass punched in the face and be a wrestler. It's the bump. Like, it's a lot harder than people think.
Well, yeah, like, it's at the beginning, you're kicking your own ass. You're basically doing the back bumps and the front bumps over and over, front flips. You have to land basically perfect, otherwise you will be in a lot of pain. You have to hit your ass, your shoulders, and your feet basically at the same time. It's like, it's an art, and it was crazy, but it was fun. I mean, I really did have a good time doing it. But
Well, you were definitely a talker, and I think you would have succeeded in that career. Instead, you tried to go that route. Tell me about the name Bobby Slayer, though. I found that kind of interesting.
I don't know how I came up with that. That was just stupid. But I mean, like, I used to wear these black whatever tights with like red fringe on it. and a black vest only, and, I look like a broken down Shawn Michaels, so it was somebody told me that one time, and I was but it was, it really was fun, you really have to get your stuff together, you have to know everything that goes together, there's always sets of things that go together to put together a match that you don't have to call it the whole time, you know? And I remember having one really good match that would, because sometimes you'd always mess up, at the beginning because I was new at it, but it was definitely like an experience. That's why, I always say do whatever, just try it. You know what I mean? Whatever you want to do.
And I think you're a living embodiment of that. I think that you are like if you put
Mhm.
up that phrase, "Do what you want to do," there's going to be a picture of Bob Levy there. But see, wrestling wasn't going to be your future. Your future was going to be in comedy.
Yeah, I
And
was already, headlining everywhere, so it was like I'd go there and I go, "Yeah, I'd like to do this." Like he goes, "You're a comedian, you're not a wrestler." And I was
yeah,
like, "Yeah, I know." You know what I mean? But you still want to push it as far as you can.
yeah, you're a fan. I mean, who doesn't want to get in the ring and just roll around a bit? Have some fun.
I
Fuck
was
it.
a mark. I was a mark, and
We're all, we're still marks.
yeah, well, that's what it is. It's like, I would still love to do another match,
You'll
I
be
was
laced in copper the entire time, and
well, that's what it is. I have the, bionic elbow somewhere here, the people's this thing,
I need to invest in one of those. Trips tells me that she's the one who told me about you and copper.
I mean, it actually works, whether it works on your brain or whatever, it doesn't matter, be but it definitely, it definitely does stuff because I had, like, nerve damage in my from the car accident, like, my ankle my feet, you know what I mean? It's more my feet, like, so, I mean, this is helping, the chiropractic is helping, you know what I mean? But it's like shit that never goes away, but you deal with it.
How did you end up on Stern or working with Stern?
Well, they I know that Casey and Florentine were working together, like, doing a little comedy, and Jim was already on there, and he was telling him about me, and Casey I think that Casey told him and then I think I called in one time, and then I might have sat in another time, one time, but then the roast came, or the roast came first, the Meanest Listener thing, where
Yeah.
you would roast the people, and I sent in a Howard roast, then I sent in a Robin one, and I kept sending them in when people were only sending one in, at the beginning before with the idea of it, and then
Yeah.
when the competition came, they took one of mine, and it went from there, and then they had I forget how many people. You see, that's one thing, my memory's kinda shot from the accident, but it's
Yeah.
okay because it's faster now. When I'm doing shows, I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom," because I don't have this whole, back, fill of fucking bullshit memories, you know what I mean? But I can kinda get through them. But, yeah, and then I just kept sending them in, and then they had the competition, and I ended up winning that, and then I was just a regular on there, and then you get more comfortable, like, the first time you're fucking nervous,
Fuck
it's
yeah.
like crazy as hell. I was like I Florentine came up with me, and I go, "Come and sit with me. Can you come in with me?" And, that was I needed some comfortability, because they got all these people looking at you. I was always like a little nerd. Now I don't give a fuck,
I mean, it's Stern. Like he's the biggest radio show ever, and
Yeah.
you're up there, and you're in there with the heavy hitters. But the way I
Mhm.
look at it is, and you're an inspiration to many people. When I say the Bob philosophy, fucking do it. I don't want to
Yeah.
hear it. Shut the fuck up. Go do it. And you live that. You went
Yeah.
on tour with Beetlejuice and the Iron Sheik and all
Yeah.
that. What was that like? What was like going on?
Hell,
Like,
it was incredible. Like, it was like, you know what I mean? It was a whole different thing than the comedy, like stand-up comedy. I got to do stand-up comedy, but I also got to work with them and get them going, and you know what I mean? And to play almost a straight guy,
yeah.
which is cool.
Wait,
Just
wait, 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 wait. Bob Levy is the straight guy.
Yeah, because you had to build them up. You know what I mean? Like when I do a show in my way, I'm playing. You know what I mean? I'm the one that's always going to get the punchline at me. I'm going to get it. Like I had her punch me in the face the other day. Go, hit me. Stop being a bitch. Go. Go. No, not slow. No. Just do it right. Do it right. You ready? Go. I'm not kidding. Go. No, that's nothing. Go. Go.
You have a ring on.
Take it off and fucking hit me, you fuck. You weak. You fucking asshole. What the fuck was that? Oh my God, my fucking head rattled, you piece of shit. Oh my God. Go get me some aspirin now. Oh.
Whoa. Good. I think I could go harder.
No, that. Oh, you rattled both sides. Wow, that was good. Yeah, but like that's what to make it work, it has to play that way. You know what I mean? Nobody plays that way anymore. Nobody wants to take that position. By taking the hits. You have to. It makes it. That's what makes, I think, people like us together.
If we're equating that, it's like wrestling. It's the heel job. The heels are like, nobody gives heels the credit they deserve, because without a great heel, face ain't shit. Like go back to WrestleMania this last weekend. Without Roman being that champion for so long, as much as I like Cody wouldn't have been shit.
Yeah,
you talk all you want. You carried that role, and you still carry that role. But you're, like I said in the chat the other day, you're the John Cena of the Dabbleverse. Nobody can hate you. Everybody loves you. Everybody wants.
Yeah, but I mean, I can do anything. I can make them think this. I can make them think that, and that's they can say whatever they want, but they don't understand. And I like that part. I like it. Like the other day, somebody in her family was watching us do that show.
Yeah.
And they called up her and said, "I want to talk to you when you're alone." And he goes, "That motherfucker's yelling at you." And like, you understand? Like they have no idea.
I get it. Because if anybody else were to be here with me and her and the way we interact, they would think we hate each other. But that's my best fucking friend. Like,
well, that's why we have fun all the time, and it just it doesn't matter. You can't we just do what we do, and if you dig it, you dig it. If you don't, who cares? It really doesn't matter, But we have fun. But it's like when you can have people believe what they see, and that's the whole thing. It's the whole thing. It's like anything else. I mean, like going over stuff, I'll say something like I don't get it. It's definitely you know what I mean. Brian Crowder too. I'm going to buy a seismograph machine. Yeah, good. I don't even know what the fuck it is, so go buy one. What is that bullshit? We're always trying to fucking trick me. A seismograph? What is that?
I think it's an earthquake. Right? Is it for earthquakes?
I don't know. Talk a little louder. No whispering. It's not like we're in bed. Tiger Lily.
Gene.
So this is what kills me, and I'm glad you're being Bob with me right now. You're not being Levy-verse. You're not being the character. I'm getting to talk to the real fucking Bob, because I know you're a brilliant man. Fuck the bullshit. I know there's a lot of a character and there's a lot of shtick. But if you're not smart enough to see how smart you are, then you're not watching properly. But that's what it is. That's a testament to you, though. You play the shtick, and you play a great fucking character.
Well, it's not. It's like it's like I could be Stone Bob. I can be drink whatever. It's like they just it's fun. It's actually fun to do that stuff. All I need is a little bit. If I get a little bit of the cookie in me, I know the character. I know. It's not. I'm not saying it's a total character, but I know what I'm doing.
You can take something that is 5% and turn it to 11.
And
speaking of my better half, she knew how nervous I was about this interview. She just texted me, "Breathe. You're gonna do fine."
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm a big fan of yours, because I look at you and it's like, that's what you want. You're a happy guy. You've been through fucking hell. You smell like smoke because you've been through fire. And to talk about Gina and you, there's something that really touched me. You were doing Rising with the Rev. You said that you're at the house when she's at work and you're bored.
Yeah.
When she's not there, it's not the same, and that got me in the feels because I've never met anybody. You were getting married. Everybody knows that now, but she's my second wife. First wife was not pleasant. That was a car wreck. No pun intended. But I get it. When you talk about Gina, I know how much you love her. Even when you said, I didn't break the fucking dishwasher. If you come in here, I feel the love there. It's a beautiful thing. And watching you two together, people clamor for a Bob and Gina show because you can't deny that chemistry between you two. It's palpable. Like you can feel it in the air. Love is in the fucking air.
What are we doing for it? Nothing. Come on over a little bit, honey. Here she is. Here she is. My best friend in the world. Yeah, but we know, like, we have fun off air. You know what I mean? So it's like, what's so hard about, she's new to this stuff, but like she comes in once a week with me and we just have a good time, because it's like when somebody changes your lifestyle and for the better and never gave up, not like, I've had some that work very hard, but it was a lot of work. But I've never had somebody work this hard to go to all that, you know what I mean? To find a person that, like she said, that's inside me that wasn't, she knew it was there. So it was a lot of work to get to that point, but most people would not have done that. And then once she got me to rehab, I was like, it took me another year to get my stuff, because you're still out of your mind. But once that started going, you see a whole different world, So that's why, like with those pills, they'll they would give everybody Xanax and that. But the doctor was a fan of mine. He gave me, I was on 6 milligrams a day, which basically I don't even know how I was functioning, but I was.
You're a fearless guy, Bob. And the reason I say that is one of the first things you pop in Bob Levy, and I know it's been done to death. We talked about it before we came on, but I'm going to approach it from a different angle. You got into it with Danny Bonaduce.
Don't fight girls, man.
Yeah, you don't fight girls.
And old guys, you're just gonna get hurt.
You're a fucking old guy. You're the fucking old ass.
Yeah, but you just swung, and I'm still standing here offering you
I'm
another
still standing too. You got the one that has to have a fucking
Okay,
bodyguard
back up and let's see how he does.
If you'll
Yeah,
break
that was all fake, but like,
really,
yeah, it was a fun idea. I thought,
yeah,
it's like, it's like, it's an opportunity. The way I looked at it, it would blow me and the guys up a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just eyes, and if it'll help us on the road, let's fucking do it. Who gives a shit? What's
Did you have fun with that? I know it's done to death, but did you enjoy that? I mean, what was it about that? What was it about Danny Bonaduce?
It was nothing. It was just, it happened just a night I was there, and they're like, "Well, how about this?" And I'm like, "Okay, I'll go set it up." And I go, "This is what I'll do. I'll say, you just keep going, you push me, and then I'll slap you." And then he never fucking pushed me, and I'm arguing like the video was probably 5 minutes long of me running out of insults, like, because he never pushed me. You know what I mean? And then I ended up just hitting him after a while. And we didn't tell anybody, but like the bouncers didn't know that part was real when they go through me, because I could take bumps. I can take, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. So I was basically thrown around by 2 big bounces.
Like a what? Wait, act like a what?
A douchebag.
Dude, this is my room. I'm just getting ready. Could you just...
No,
Yo. Get the fuck out of here, man. Yo, hold on. Will. What's wrong with you? Hey, let him up. Yeah.
Being thrown around, though, you're no stranger to that. You were partying hard. You were having a fucking time. You were fucking living the life. But no pun intended, that shit came crashing to a halt when you were in the wreck.
Yeah, it wasn't that, it was just crazy. It wasn't crazy wreck. It was just the way it happened, and you're at a red light and somebody was, drunk on drugs, I believe too, hit me like probably 30 to 40 miles an hour from the back, just smashed into me and I didn't even see it coming. And it just messed up. Like I got a concussion. Like I was fine that night, just like because everything starts beating, your heart's beating. That I was fine. I think the tow truck driver drove me home. I'm pretty sure. And then that Sunday, I started like throwing up, and I went to the emergency room. I had a concussion, and then everything just started leading to everything else, and it went from head to toe, and it was like then it was like very hard to walk for like about 8 months to a year. Like it was just brutal. I would have to look down. I'd have to make sure I didn't like if I walked. Like I had to look and make sure nothing was in my way in case I fell or whatever. But it was so slow, and like then it was very hard to. Your eyes went because like when I looked outside, like if there was snow outside and the sun came out, I had to close I could not even deal with it. So I was in the dark for a while. I was home. I was in the dark, and then I would do stuff like that. I would just hang out. I watched South Park. I was up for, I never really watched South Park. I watched it 24 hours, a day basically, and just shut it off when the Daily Show came on, you know. But it was the weirdest thing. Like I would stay up for like 2 days and then sleep for like 18 hours and then I couldn't, it was again, I couldn't move, couldn't get out. Even like my dogs would stay with me. They would never bet, you know what I mean? They never they went out when I was ready to take them out because they knew stuff was up. Yeah, and it was an awful time, but when I look back at it now, every little thing is great now because I thought I was done. I had to learn how to stand on stage again. I would lean against a wall. I would put my foot on a speaker and just not move when I was starting to come back, and nobody would book me, which is a funny thing because the business, like like I had friends that go, "I didn't want to see you like that on stage," and you're home, you're home starving, you're home with nothing. Everything just collapsed, everything. And look, it's good that it truthfully is good that it happened.
You are night and day. I mean, you're still Bob, but you're not the Bob from back then. You're a more humble Bob, and it's like you appreciate things more now than you did then.
Totally, totally. I mean, I just was like out of control. I mean, everywhere we went, everything, everything I did, it was like a party, but
I mean, they're gonna give you whatever you want because you're fucking Bob.
no, it's just the way it is. It's weird, and I don't think I'm anybody, and I never did. I always thought of it. It was a job. That's why people go, "Oh, I'm a fan." They're friends. They're not like a fan to sound weird. I've never, the fuck did I, you know what I mean? I don't get that. I don't to me. It's weird when that word comes up because it's like I never ever seen myself any different than I was, and I still,
You bring joy to a lot of people, especially.
you learn that. You learn that. Let me tell you something. You learn that from people during some of their worst times when they write to me. And it's very emotional because that you can bring people laughter through their worst times. And they hit you up, and it's like, or if they have, a pill problem, how do I do this? You know what I mean? That's what's important to me. Like, that's when I go, wow, maybe I am doing something. Like, and I'm not really like, to me, this is just the fun part of this. This is like, this is just, you know, But it's like the end. Like I don't look. You know what I mean? I'm just having fun now. It's not about, oh, I want to be this, I want to be that. I'm happy. You know what I mean? I'm happy here. This is my mecca of happiness. And when I can, if I can still do stuff and entertain people or not, or bring some kind of emotion, whether it's good or bad, I'm still doing my job.
You're
Well, that's
you're the personification of that blue collar guy.
Mhm.
I know it blows your mind that you have fans, but I
Yeah.
will say this: I've never been in a place as far as entertainment and watching guys like you, Shuli,
Mhm.
Frog, Don, and the whole crew, fucking Mike and Zen. Y'all welcome people. Like y'all make it feel like we're your fucking friends and we're just having a
Well,
fucking
that's
beer.
what it is, because, you know, it's like you have to look at it like other people that have a lot of talent. You know what I mean? And you don't know it. Once you start seeing it, you're like, these fucking people are unbelievable, and just how nice they are, and like, if it helps people get through a day or whatever, or some bullshit in their life, or something going on really bad, that's what makes it worth it. Otherwise, it's just, to me, it's like laughing. I'm on here having I laugh. I don't take shit too seriously.
But it's not always fun. And
No.
that's why I'm going to bring up the next topic,
Mhm.
Kevin Brennan.
Yeah, but that's just that's more of a you see, there's life and there's fucking this
Fuck.
shit.
Well, let me ask you this. You started working with a guy. You brought so much to the table there. In watching some of that old stuff, you're hilarious, and you can work with anybody. That's what we talked about. We talked about it earlier. You being the straight guy, you being this guy, hell, you going into professional wrestling, you initiating the Bonaduce shit. You are a key player in the fact that you're a multi-tool guy. You tell Bob to do something, motherfucker, I'm gonna make it happen. And that's how I felt about Kevin. I have gone on record to say he's the anti-Shuli. He's like, you have Shuli, and Shuli's a certain way. It's like you have Superman and Bizarro. Kevin Brennan is
Mhm.
Bizarro. He's just, I don't, he seems like a miserable guy, and you're a fun-loving guy. So it worked, the chemistry worked well, but then you had a falling out. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, the falling out was him just making up shit, you know what I mean, in his mind or whatever. This is happening. Oh, he's going behind my no, it's like it was never like that, you know what I mean? It's like, but if that's what you need to bring in an audience, fine, it's all bullshit, you know? It's like, oh, I'm telling Chad things behind his back. He's like fucking crying like a girl. It's like, because I guess it didn't go well. I don't know what he expected to happen in Atlantic City, but he blamed me and Melton for it. Like, and it was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And it's just like, if that's what you need to get people to listen, then fuck it, it's not worth it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think a lot of people got upset though because you've always your story's never changed. You've always been straightforward, and a lot of people got upset on your end and came to your defense because you got fucked out of like $6,000
It
for
does
work that you did.
it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? There's real life in this fucking fake. If you can't in one on one with me, then you can cry like a bitch. You'll never be a man. You'll never fucking be a man. You got something to say, do it to my fucking face. You know, with nobody around, without no security, with any you will fucking it'll be the worst fucking day of your life.
Mhm. He got a nice taste of your drink. I remember that in Atlantic City.
You're looking for me? You're looking for me? You're looking for me, you fucking bitch? You fucking bitch? Come on, you fucking bitch.
I couldn't reach him. I almost was able to reach him.
Well, I mean, the climax of it did happen in Atlantic City. John was sticking up for him. John was looking real I can't say it with a straight face.
It's weird, this business. Everybody's a fucking, everybody's a tough guy in this business. And it's just the opposite. I've never seen so many cowards in my fucking life.
And I mean, everybody is a tough guy until they find a tougher guy. And this is when I go back. You said of some of its character, you have balls of steel, my man. And I watch you walk up there with Gina in tow, throw a drink, and try to climb over a fucking guardrail because he's being disrespectful. And that's the way I took it. He's being a fucking asshole. He came over there with a posse to get a reaction for some clicks. Fuck
and
you.
Posse sounds a lot like pussy.
Big pussy. That's what he was. And like I said, but fuck all the negative.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something really positive that actually brought us all here, brought me to you, made me reach out to the Rev, Shuli Agar.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about your relationship with Shuli. How did that start? And how did it ultimately lead to fucking Rico and everything beyond?
Well, it started, like I was already on the show. I think like it's hard to recall everything, but I do believe, I know he was in Vegas and that, and then I think me and Artie were going out, and I remember him picking us up, and then we put him on the show. And then when he started coming to New York, and then we put together the Kill as a comedy. Well, I think Miserable Men came. I just had decided, like I had a show that I did in Atlantic City. What was it called? What's Your Problem? It was years ago. It was just like everybody's pissed about, everybody. Something's, you can talk about anything, and anything that happens to you happen to anyone, and that's the key to. That's why I like to keep it more like Levyverse. I like to keep it. It's my news. It's not the news that's out there. I don't give a. You know what I mean? You either come with it, or you'll find something else. But like, I don't really give two shits about a lot of stuff. I might talk about it a little here and there, but I'll go. I'm going to be doing a show where I'll be watching me ripping apart me. You know what I mean? And
or letting Gina punch you in the face.
Well, that's what it is, and she'll be doing it too. Like, we don't. If I say something that's not good, that's not funny, she goes, well, you might want to work on that one a lot, or whatever. Like, she's not going to say, oh yeah, that's good. And that's what it is. You just fucking. So I had that show in Atlantic City, and then it was on Howard's channel. Like, he was out there, so it was good. We were doing a Sunday night, and we had like 14 rating on a Sunday night, which is big, for for even like a Sunday, even though nothing's on Sundays. But people tuned in, and it was the calls were coming in huge. And then I turned that like into what Miserable Men is. That's what I was trying to sell there, and then they liked the show when I did the whatever, no audition for it, and then Shirley was like, what's going on with the show? And I go, I don't know. And he goes, well, let's do a news story. And I go, yeah, let's just say we got it, Howard agreed, because and we did that. We just fucking did it and go, yeah, I got a show coming on. And Howard's like, that's great, let's go, Tim, let's get this going. And that's how it happened. I mean, we probably would have got it anyway, but we did a news story ahead that everybody okayed it, and we're going to be on Howard 101.
It's like you said before, just fucking do it. Stop talking about it. Just go fucking do it. You want something, go do it.
Well, that's what it is. I always sat back and I never asked for anything. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just that person. I'll never like, oh, how come you don't, I go, I'm not going to ask, I'm just like that, because I know how people like, whenever you're doing anything, people like, you don't even hear from me. Like, and you're like, okay, the phone's ringing. And you're like, okay, all right, I know where this is going. And they call up, how you feeling and all that. And I'm like, yeah, good. And then I go into this I just start babbling for 25 minutes or 30 minutes. And I go, okay, I got to go. And then you go, hey, by the way, I see you're doing like this or that. You know what I mean? They're calling because I never wanted to be that person.
That no.
And
Well, that's why when I came to you, I said, Bob, I like you, think you're fucking hilarious. I want to interview you. But how do I make that happen? Hell yeah, let's do that. Okay, cool. We'll get together. And I was in shock because again, but it also goes back to you saying you don't have fans, you have friends.
yeah,
But I didn't know you like that. I just, and
yeah,
you're the shit. You're really always nice about it. And again, it goes back to this attitude of Bob. Just fucking do it. And I love that. I love that about you.
well, that's what it is. You just fucking. I think if you're nice to people, you're going to meet nice people, but you also get people that want to take advantage of. I understand that, but it's worth a chance for me. You know what I mean? Because I am meeting people that are life changing, in many ways, and it's worth a few that or whatever, but it's never really the fans nowadays. Like the fans back then, they'll whatever. It depends, but like, but nowadays it's like you have to be able to you have to be able to, like, would you like once you get into the business, you notice your friends are just the people in the business, and I was always like shutting that out, people in regular life, you know what I mean? And you can't do that. And I would sit and talk to her. I go, "Well, how come I don't, and she goes, you just don't get, you don't get involved. You know what I mean? You like your, when I'm home, I'm home. That's what I guess it is. So I don't push it, but now I'm like, I'm more easy, like, easy going thinking. I'm like, wow, this is much better this way.
You have a lot of friends. You got all these people that
Yeah.
love you.
No, when you meet these people, it's amazing. It really is amazing, and they're nice people. Like, it's not like in the Stern days, you would meet people, and you walk in, and like, the club, and you see somebody sitting there by themselves, and you're like, look at this fucking psycho, and they're like, hey, I'm whatever, but it's not like that, It's like it's like it's like a fun thing when you meet the people. It totally is, it makes it fun to go out and do stuff.
Speaking of going out and doing stuff, y'all recently did y'all's show, and I hear wonderful things. Granted, I'm from Texas, so I didn't get to go all the way to New York or New
Mhm.
Jersey. How was that? How was performing live again and being up there with Shuli and the
No,
guy?
it's fun. It's definitely fun, it's like people are coming out, and it's just they have a good time, and it reminds me of the old days going on tour,
Yeah,
whatever you call a tour, like I'm Warrant. I'm
you're the last outlaw, but you're the last comedian outlaw, though, man. You're doing it, and which brings me to the
yeah,
reason for everything here.
yeah,
Y'all do the Uncle Rico show,
yeah,
and that's really where the crux of everything is. Y'all shows about John.
yeah.
Is that beef real with you and him, or is he, is he really that guy? Because he's despised. So, but you know him better than anybody else. I mean, he was comfortable enough to try to hit on your wife, but is that him? Is he
No,
really
I
that
mean,
guy?
it's hard to say, you know. I mean, I knew him a while back for a time, you know, and then I didn't talk to him in a long time. It's not like, I really had nothing against him. When the show came, the offer came, was sit in, because I was watching and I go, "Well, this is like looking at something and then coming up with jokes right away." It was like, and as you can see at the beginning, I was just doing jokes, you know what I mean? But then it would get too far, and then I realized it was going too far. But he goes too far. But I'm not. I'm not going to say. Yeah, my thinking was I will top that now. But it's like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? Let's go back to the basics of what it is, because you're not going to believe me. You're not going to get to us here, you know? I mean, please, you know? So it's like I gotta go back on the target of what it is, you know? Do what you wanna do, say what you wanna say. It does not affect our lives here. When it gets, like, with the paperworks and all that bullshit that's been going on, like, that's not my thing, you know?
And I enjoyed it when y'all were busting balls, and it was funny. It was, y'all, this guy who can't bust balls and takes everything personal and cries like a baby, and y'all just being the mature side of things, but still being funny. But now it's, and I'm not knocking y'all. I don't put y'all in that category because, credit to Shuli for being a man who says, "Hey, I'm not going to that level. You can go to that level. I'm
Yeah.
not." But him going after family members and then being in complete denial that y'all attack first, I don't understand that methodology.
That's child thinking when you really look at it, and, you know, like, I almost slipped by saying that too, and I'm like, "No, I can't say that's the stupidest thing I ever just said." You know, it's like, it doesn't matter first or whatever. It's like you have to know d I guess everything kinda has a line, I guess, you know what I mean? I never like, in comedy, I never looked at it that way, but I don't know. I really I can't e you know, this is all kinda new to me, you know, of this kinda stuff.
Speaking of new,
Yeah.
so you were in the era of radio where comedy was in the Stern Show. You did a stand up and all that. What's this like to you? I mean, this whole podcast thing. Like, I couldn't imagine being where you started that you would end up here on the
Mhm.
fucking internet with a microphone. I mean, what is this like to you for someone who did the old school and was a master
Yeah.
of the old school? What's this like to you?
It I mean, this is fun. This is like, you know, I would always drive to places, you know what I mean? Like, I've done this kinda stuff with Kid Chris on his radio show, well, like, in 2002, like, we have not exactly this equipment, but, you know, we'd have rooms where we can write stuff in, and if a character was coming on the air to abuse somebody, a guest, we'd write for them, with the but it was like but, this to me, this is fun because to be home doing this and, like, this is where I love to be, like, even my wife will say, I'm not one to, we will start going out and doing a lot of stuff on the weekends now when it's getting nice and filming stuff and just having fun, but this is amazing that, COVID brought this, I guess.
And it's like you said, the car wreck and all that stuff that happened to you and had to happen. COVID had to happen, and I'm like you. I don't like to leave my fucking house. This is my
Mhm.
happy place. Don't you
Yeah,
fuck with my happy place.
yeah,
Now I can sit here and talk to you, and you're across the country, and we just sit here
mhm,
and shoot the shit. This access is for all the negative people talk about all this extra access. This is fantastic. I love this, and it brings us a little bit closer, and
yeah.
it makes shit a lot easier.
Oh, yeah, no, there's no doubt, I mean it's fun, like, when I do my shows on my station, I I don't have set times, like, I'm so bad with set times. Yeah, it's very like, I'll be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go on, tomorrow. I'll try," and then if I'm not in the mood, like today, I'm not going on, if I need a little more sleep, I'm not going on, but if I feel it, I'm going on, right, whatever, in an hour. I'm like an hour and a half, I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it because I feel like I have it, like, and, I'm still learning on how to do the chats by myself and just like but like I can do stuff without missing a beat because my mind like goes in other directions and that stuff. But I just have to learn more about how it works, where I can keep them in a certain spot and then come to them because I'm going I want to get back to the longer rants and that stuff and then have segments where I bring it in. Like it's just I'm working on getting it back, getting it to where I feel it should be, and I'm getting close to it.
Feel it. From the time I started watching you recently to now, like it's a night and day. Like I see you throwing pans out the fucking window and you're having fun, and where there was a fragileness to you when I look back, you see that extreme Bob with the blue cheese going crazy,
Yeah.
being fucking wild Bob, and then the car wreck happened, and then you're kind of almost like fucking Sigourney Weaver in the movie where she's got to touch the fucking wall to get down the hallway.
Yeah.
Now you're fucking I see that spark of Bob. I see what everybody else sees. I think everybody else is along for that ride. I said in the chat the other day, you ever thought about getting Frog and Don on there? I was busting your balls.
Rebellion, $5. Thank you. Bob, you ever think about getting Don or Frog to produce for you, or even Mike and Bob and Mike? So, no. They got jobs, motherfucker. No, this is something. This is what I do. I do this. I look, man, the greatness of me is me. Okay? So once you fucking understand that, you wouldn't come in with those kind of fucking humor. See you tomorrow. But no, I know, but it's all, look, I will yell about anything that, whatever. It's like, it's at the moment, like people got to understand that, I'm doing a show, and if I said, oh, that would be a good idea, it just doesn't sell. It doesn't work, You have to make people, like when Frog comes in and I just start yelling, like I want him to be uncomfortable. I want him to fuck up, and it's just funny and whatever. And if he comes at me, it's fucking great. You understand that?
Yeah, no, I'm with you, and I love that. And Frog, you didn't see any of this if you watched this. Just you shut the fuck up. But I love, like, I don't mean that I love you, Frog. Shut up. But like I said, I love the character. I love that you're a human being behind that, and that's what this is about. Like, everybody worries about going behind the scenes, but you're not just a character. I find you as a human being. I can sit there. It's almost like inside the actor studio, and I get to sit here and talk to Bob Levy. So what were you thinking in this moment? And it's a beautiful thing to sit here, just shoot the shit with a guy who I'm not going to go so far as say idolize, because that sounds like it makes me sound like a fucking bitch, and I'm not trying to do all that. but to some regard, like I find you to be incredible in learning about your story. So many people would have given up at many points in your life.
Well, I was giving up, and then my son was like, he's like, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean? You never give up on shit. And because it was just like, I never thought I could do it again. I just thought it was fucking, like, it was just ridiculous pain, and just like, to deal with it was just incredible. And I was like, I can do this, but it took a long time, but, but I'll tell you, like, I don't even, it's hard to even, go back to those days and think of remembering it, because it's so fucking depressing. But like I don't like time is not like I'm like, I was telling my wife, when was COVID again? And I'm like, she's like 2020, and I'm like, that I thought it seemed a lot longer. You know what I mean? I go, how long we've been together now? And it's like time like that. It's I'm not good with time at all, no more.
An inspiration to a lot of people, and you bring joy. You got a couple cats in your y'all's chat who have cancer, and you got them through that. People who've lost loved ones.
It's amazing the shit that I get, and I'm like, fuck. It's like it's worth doing it. You know what I mean? It's like you realize that. It's amazing.
So when are we getting the Bob Levy book?
Well, I'm working. I did work on it, but then I stopped. You see, like I just can't. I wasn't able to focus. I'm very bad at focusing and getting stuff done like that. So now I'm gonna have to hit the girl up again, and I might have like almost half of it done, but yeah, it's just the time of sitting down. And the worst thing I love the worst thing I that I hate talking about. Guess who it is?
Bob.
Yes.
So Bob, you have you've been a
Mhm.
professional wrestler to some degree.
Mhm.
You've been a joke teller, a comedian. You've opened a couple clubs. You've been a podcaster. You've been a vampire.
You sure? I am a vampire.
You are a loving husband and a loving father.
Yes.
Is there anything left? Is there another mountain for Bob Levy to climb?
No. I'm happy the way it is right now. You know what I mean? It's like I I don't need no mountains. Um, I like it on level ground, and I'm pretty excited. I'm happy. I'm just like I go to bed happy, I wake up happy, and once that happens, in your life, it just it's amazing. It really is amazing. Yeah.
I've enjoyed this thoroughly. You have made me appreciate you even more so, which I didn't think was possible.
No.
You are an amazing man, Bob. You are a good person. You have a good heart, and you remind me that one good deed goes a long way. You're an inspiration again to a lot of people, and I don't want you to ever forget that. I'm not just a fan. I'm someone who looks at you, and I look at people like you, and I put y'all on this platform, and I hold you on that pedestal because people need to see guys like you, because they need to know that, motherfucker, if you want it, you can take it.
And if you should always do for other people. Some people will fuck you, but that can't stop you. That can't stop you from being good to people. You know what I mean? Because or doing favors for just whatever you do, to help people. You can't because there's always going to be some people that hate. You know what I mean? Hate everything, but that's okay. You just get over it. It's gone. Bye bye. You know what I mean? It's worth it for the good people.
And you are one of the good people, Bob.
I hope so.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been my privilege to sit here and talk to the Reverend Bob Levy.
Thank
I'm
you,
Dan.
brother.
That's Bob. And we'll see you in the next one.
You got it, buddy. Take care.